What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Combat Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I am your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont, and I am a little late with this podcast. This is a recap of BKFC 86. So much was going on after that fight last Saturday night, which was a banger. I did a short on Instagram, and I've been meaning to do this longer form video, but a lot of stuff has been going on. You know, I do so many different sports and so many different topics. And of course, the national championship football game was on Monday. I was there, busy all week. So I apologize to my fight fans. Listen here, this BKFC 86 card was an absolute banger, awesome card. Here to talk about it. Before we jump in, let me give a shout out to the sponsors of our show. We start off with Natalie Lopez, attorney at law. When life hits hard, the law firm of Natalie Lopez hits back harder. She practices in the areas of criminal defense and family law. You can reach her at 954 888 8833. That's 954 888 8833. And you can also follow her on Instagram at nat.guilty. That's nat.guilty. Thank you, Natalie, for your support of our show. Let me also give a shout out to another sponsor of our show, law firm of Ralph Sanchez. Ralph Sanchez Law in the building, personal injury law firm, slip and fall, motor vehicle accident, negligent security, medical malpractice, any type of injury case. Reach out to Ralph and his team at 305 574 9302. That's 305 574 9302. Thank you to Ralph, Enrique, and the team at Ralph Sanchez Law. Let's jump right on in. What a fight card, man. Main event, Julian Lane and Dustin Pague. You couldn't have asked for more. Like, seriously, folks, you couldn't have asked for more. You got an absolute slobber knocker of a fight. And Dustin Pague comes away with the win in a sudden death round 6 after it was a draw on the scorecards. You couldn't have asked for a better fight to cap off the first fight of the year for the BKFC. Lane came in and was riding a 5-fight winning streak. Page's coming off a big win over Ryan Peterson. And Paige jumped out early on Julian Lane, man. He really put it to Julian Lane early on in this fight. It was a very, very impressive, first couple of rounds by Paige, in my opinion. And he drops Julian Lane in the first round, which was pretty shocking, but he looked real good in doing so. And I really thought, I was like, whoa, some big stuff here. Now, the punch stats, I don't think tell the entire story because the overall punch stats are a little bit, around a little bit different, but control the fight wise, I thought Dustin Pague won the first 3 rounds. I thought Julian Lane won the last 3 rounds. With the knockdown, that would have given the fight a draw because Lane did get dropped. I thought Lane I thought Lane kind of took over the fight in round 3. Round 4, he was dominant in that round. But I thought he won rounds 3, 4, and 5. And I didn't realize that they were having a sudden death fight round. So, yeah, Julian Lane comes away and fights back. That first round knockdown, though, and was big because it actually allowed this fight card to go to sudden death rounds. Because in round 4, Julian Lane had an avalanche assault on Dustin Pague, and Pague was able to withstand it, keep fighting, stay in the fight, not get dropped. I don't know how he didn't go down, but the man is an absolute warrior savage. He has a humongous cut across his forehead. But yeah, man, the guy absolutely is a stud. And in round 6, it was a real interesting one because I thought Julian Lane was in control. I thought he had won round 6 until Dustin Pague lands an absolute bomb on Julian Lane in the final 5 seconds of that round. Final 5 seconds of round six, he lands a bomb on Julian Lane, and Julian Lane's eyes just roll. You could see how much that shot rocked him. And I mean, I'll be real, that has got to be what the judges last saw. And I am convinced, and I think the guys on the broadcast were convinced that that punch, despite Lane winning the round, in my opinion, that punch turned it. Because I do think Lane won the fight. I thought Lane won round six. I thought he had done more damage. He outlanded, he outthrew. I thought it was pretty clear. But when you land an absolute bomb like that, if he had landed that shot and Lane just kind of eaten it, it would have been different. But he rolled like his eyes. If that fight had had another 10 seconds, Lane might have been knocked out. That's how big of a shot that was. Dustin Pague wins the fight. He gets round six, unanimous decision, and he is the new champion. And there were questions about whether or not let's do this fight again. This was the first fight of the year, and it could be the fight of the year, especially with what was riding on a championship. So Pague is now the welterweight champion. He was asked by Cyrus, would you do this run a rematch? He kind of skirted the real question. Maybe he forgot because he was punched in the head so many times. But this is a fight that I think should have an immediate rematch. And I'm not a big immediate rematch guy, but this is an immediate rematch type of fight. I thought Lane won, but I understand Pague getting the decision. It wasn't shocking that he got the decision because of that punch. And round six wasn't such a blowout, but I thought it was enough that Pague had won, except for the fact that punch was so big that Lane was like in outer space. Now, if you look at the guys' faces, Lane didn't have much damage. Pague was busted up pretty good. But yeah, that was a big time win for Dustin Pague. I'd love to see that rematch. I'd love to see that rematch immediately. I don't need to see Pague fight somebody else. I want to see that fight again. I think everybody wants to see that fight again. Co-main event, Jamel Herring puts on a clinical performance over Matt Guyman. That fight wasn't close. That was a boxing clinic. Herring showed his incredible skills, his boxing ability, and just dominated. At the end of the fight, he does bring up Justin Joyboy Ibarola, who is the champion at the bantamweight division. And Joyboy has talked about he wants to fight Jamel Herring. He told me just as well he wants to fight Jamel Herring in his first title defense. So there's the opportunity. Could this be a fight that's made for March? I don't think so. I think this fight is more looking like June or July, whenever they come back to I believe they're going to be in a Hard Rock in March. But I think this fight is a fight that gets made in June. So I did hear that there's a big fight card that they're trying to put together in June for the Hard Rock. So I think this is a June fight card, or if it's July, whatever is June or July. I do think that's a main event level card, main event level fight for that card, or definitely a co-main event, depending on who else they have on the fight card. Dalvin Blair, Ramiro Figueroa, good fight, man. Figueroa's coming off of a win over Howard Davis, stoppage by doctor. I mean, it was off that eyelid thing, and in this fight, he's fighting at his regular weight class at welterweight at 165. Dalvin Blair coming off of two quick knockouts in round one. You found out that you need some cardio, man. And Dalvin Blair kind of got taken into deep waters by Ramiro Figueroa, who comes away with the unanimous decision. Solid fight. I thought it was a good fight. I thought Blair could have won the fight, but there was a cardio difference in this one, and Blair's cardio needs to truly improve. Rico DeSulo against Ashton Caniglia. That fight lasted 2 rounds, 26 seconds of round 2. Rico DeSulo with the knockout. Proves a 3-0. Big win. He'll move on. Guillermo Viana and Juan Figueroa. Round 1 finish with 1 second to go in the end of round 1. Look, Guillermo Viana is a monster-sized dude in comparison to Figueroa, who is 5'8". I learned a little bit about Figueroa in this fight. Actually, I had a live podcast during this fight card, and I was told that Figueroa doesn't like to fly. And he drove from Washington State to Connecticut for this fight. Showed up like a day before the fight or 2 days before the fight. Drove, freaking drove. Like that's some level, bro. And Viana was just too big and strong, man. That fight didn't go anywhere. I figure everyone got dominated, but man, to hear that, that's just a crazy ass story. Guillermo Viana's gonna be interesting at heavyweight, man. 2-0 now. Very, very skilled fighter. Ross Hilton and Branko Busick. What a fight that was. My God. The height difference of these two guys. You got 6'6" Ross Hilton against who I learned was name is Ross Squatch because he's very, very hairy. I'm a hairy guy, so I can appreciate that. And they, so they were I was calling him Sasquatch on the on the live. I had some of his teammates on the live. It was pretty cool. Busick though comes in and lays some thunder on Ross Squatch Hilton. He drops him early, man. I mean, that was a great, great fight. Drops him in round one, drops him again in round three, drops him again in round four, and then finally Ross Hilton and Hilton got up each time. And if you look at the fight number totals, it's like, what the hell happened? Because Hilton threw this dude by 3 times, outlanded him by almost 4 times. But Busick was landing some bombs, man, clipping Hilton multiple times. But Hilton gets a stoppage in round 5 with 2 knockdowns in round 5 and just puts a complete onslaught on Busick. I mean, Busick just ran out of gas, I think. And Hilton kept coming forward. I mean, it was a huge size difference, especially with the height. And it made a difference as Hilton is 1-0 and Busick is 0-1. Nate Garib, Trey Martin. My God, that might have been the fight of the night until the Julian Lane Dustin Pague fight. Nate Garib comes in. This is at welterweight. Nate Garib is too big for Trey Martin. Trey Martin had no business being in this fight. Trey Martin is a savage, bro. This kid is tougher than nails. The way he fought, the way he competed, so freaking impressive. I thought Garib won rounds 1 and 2. I thought he clearly won rounds 1 and 2. And then Trey Martin just took the damn fight over. His grit, his determination, absolutely impressive. His nonstop forward approach, onslaught. Dude landed huge. I thought he lost round 1. I thought he lost round 2. But round 3 and on, I thought he completely turned the table. He wore Garib out. You could tell Garib just wasn't in shape. He won a split decision win, but dude, he was the winner of this fight. I mean, you can look at the numbers. I mean, he outthrew him by by 30 in round 3, by 20 in round 4, and by 29 in round 5. I mean, he just turned it on, and Garib had no answer. Despite the size difference, he had no answer. He was just gassed out. He gassed himself out. Trey Martin, big time win. I think Martin can fight at 45. He's fighting this fight at welterweight. Like, he should be fighting. He could fight at 55 or even 45. It was crazy to see how he competed. I mean, he was tough. I don't know what Garib does from here. I thought Garib came in a little chunky. I thought Garib could probably fight at 55 if he just cuts weight properly. But we'll see what happens. Joey Gambino and Curtis Ellis. Gambino with a second round knockout of Curtis Ellis. This is the fight I remember where I think he just Ellis kind of just gave up. Wasn't kind of quit, if you'd say. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think that was the fight where he just kind of quit. And then you have Zach Pinnell and Brandon Meneses. Brandon Meneses with the first round TKO over Zach Pinnell, 55 seconds. Meneses improves to 1-1-1, and Pinnell's now 1-5. I mean, I don't know how long you stay in the BKFC at one with these types of consistent losses, but we'll see. And the opening fight of the night was Jared Lennon and Chachi Versace. I mean, that was a very interesting fight. Now, I want to say thank you to Jared Lennon for jumping on the podcast with me, man, because he actually promised me that he would jump on the podcast live after his fight. Obviously, he planned to win the fight. It didn't go his way. It turned into a split draw. I don't know how that fight was a draw. I got to be completely transparent. It was a great fight. It was a great, great fight. Chachi Versace made some serious mistakes in this fight. First 3 rounds, though, Jared Lennon was dominating, man. He was absolutely dominating this fight. He won the first 3 rounds, I thought, rather clearly. Like round 1 and 2 were not even close. Round 3, Versace was getting into the fight a bit, but I think he lost the round. I mean, Lennon was piecing him up with his height, with his reach. Now Lennon comes on the podcast after, which I greatly appreciate. The people that were on the live loved it. It was so cool. He's a friend of the program. Like Jared a lot. I don't know, man. He needed to finish that fight earlier. He said he kind of, again, he didn't finish the fight. He thought he should have finished the fight earlier. Said in the live podcast, he got hit and he got dropped. He got dropped in round 4. And he says when he got dropped, it kind of just took all the energy out of him. And that sucks because, I mean, I'm not a fighter, but I can only imagine you get hit with something. It's like, oh my God, now I'm zapped. I don't know what happened. And he got dropped again. But the first time he got dropped, Versace did not stay where he's supposed to stay. And it ended up being like a 15 or 16 count because the referee stopped, I think, at like 7 or 8, if I recall, and then goes over and pushes Versace back into the court because he's running around, kind of like Leonardo Perdomo did in his fight against Arnold Adams the first time, and they had to stop the count or what have you, or they should have stopped the count, but they didn't stop the count or whatever. This time they stopped the count, and basically Lennon got another 5, 6, 7 seconds to compose himself. He gets back up, he gets dropped again, but on this one, he got hit on the ground and they missed it. He got hit on the ground. How much damage it did, don't really know. Round 5. So now you got a 2-point round, a 3-point round. And I thought Lennon won the first 3 rounds. So now you have a 3-point round. And now you got a situation where it's like, oh, wait, is this fight's now tied. Now, Versace clearly won round 5 because Lennon was gassed. And then they come with a decision of 48-47. Lennon, I think was one of the cards. Either way, it was a split draw. And you're sitting here like, love Jared, but based on what happened, there's no way that this fight could have been a split draw. He won rounds 1, 2, and 3. He lost rounds 4 and 5. And round 4 was a 3-point round. Like, so let me do my mathematics here. If you go 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 9, that's 30-27. You go 10-7, that's 37-37. Like, this fight to me was 47-46, Johnny Achachi Versace. It was the wrong decision. It was a great fight, though, but the wrong decision. That said, the whole card, I think, performed very, very well. And I'd love to see a rematch of that Julian Lane, Dustin Pague fight. If you watched the fight, let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comments. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We will be doing another live this Saturday night, UFC 324. And by the way, the next fight for the BKFC is actually Knucklemania on Knucklemania 6 on February 7th, Super Bowl weekend, headlined by Ben Rothwell and Andre Arlovsky. Just to give you some idea of the fights on this card. You got Ben Rothwell, Arlovsky, you got Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt and Yoel Romero. You got Jade Masson Wong and Crystal Pittman, Johnny Garbarino and Kane Tomlinson Jr., Mike Richmond and Joel Elmore. They have their own little fight at the Hard Rock during the fight. Ben Bonner, Tony Soto 2 is going to be an absolute slugfest. Pat Sullivan, Felony Charles Bennett. This is going to be a wipeout. I don't even know what the hell's going on here. Pat Sullivan's going to kill Charles Bennett. No disrespect, just he's going to murder him. Patrick Brady and Bear Hill. Bear Hill's a tough SOB. Zedekiah Montañez and Brandon Meyer. Brandon Meyer's a bad dude. Let me see who else. And then the free fights, you got Lex Ludwell. This guy's a psychopath. I'm hoping I get him on the podcast this week. I need to get in contact with him because I want to get him on. He's a nutcase. I love that guy. He has a great gift for gab. Against Zach Collins, that should be fun. Matt Semmelsberger and Prince Nassim. Travis Thompson and Joshua Oxendine. So big fight is going on at Knucklemania, and I don't know if they've announced the Hard Rock stuff, but the rest of the month they only have listed BKFC Fight Night Mohegan again, Porter and Watson for March 28th, BKFC Fight Night Newcastle March 14th. So somewhere in between there is going to be the BKFC fight card here in South Florida at the Hard Rock. It'll probably be BKFC 87. And then BKFC Hawaii is on April 11th. They're going to go to Hawaii. That's going to be pretty fucking awesome. So That's it for this one, man. Y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. This is Combat Corner, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.
Up and down through the blood and the sweat. Guarantee you can know I'm a threat. Up and down through the blood and the sweat. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah, I'm going all in. And I ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. Yeah. They know I'm going all in. Through the blood and the sweat, y'all know we ain't close to being done yet, I'm going all in. I've been down from the jump. Ain't no love lost, we just really doing us. Go and take your seat, looking silly getting up. Y'all know what it is, let me tell them what it was. It was 24/7 on